All right, welcome back to the last bits of this patch. This is not really going to be an episode, but we are going to look at the extra stuff. So let's look at this. Okay, so this is just like a little relapse of our events type, so we can see how. Okay, type. So let's see. Chapter one, our dispatch preface. It would be cool for us to say that this dispatch our one of the projects. No, the truth is, dispatch that it was discovered by a team. Woke up every day really to solve a problem. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave this here. Just so y'all, can read it. We talked a lot about a Western anime style for dispatch, combining grounded realistic character performance with elements of anime visuals. Explains why it looked so good, because it did look really nice. Okay, so this is a little bit about Robert. Type. Yeah, they did some pretty. I did like the designs. Mecha Man. As well before the crash. Lol. Mm. And like really shout out to the team. Shout out to Critical Role who collaborated with them. Shout out to everybody who was a part of this because they literally did a phenomenal job. And Beef, the main character, the OG, the wonderful creature that he is, in my opinion, Dispatch's true mascot was the main, hero of the story type. Robert's apartment. Okay, so that's a nice look at it from outside. Chase slash Trackstar. Chase is one of our studio's favorite characters to write in anime. He's blunt, express. Oh yeah, type. Like all of us has a weak spot for beef. See, even the studio knew that beef was number one. We knew early Chase powers had an unfortunate side effect of rapid aging him, but we took care to explore how far that aging had progressed. Type. While Blazer represents the golden age of supers. She's honorable, courageous, while a generous and a strong dose of corporate approval dorkiness. Type. You get to build out Invisible Peace on the far left was the first concept drawn. And then we went on a long journey of two of his character clothes, tattoos, etc. etc. Type. That's the end office. Blazers, bathroom. I can't even give you a layout of the office and stuff. This is actually really cool. I'm glad we get to see all of this. Mm. Yeah, this is awesome, wonderful stuff that the team shows. All right, let's go ahead and return. That was chapter one, and then they got comics. This is like a lot more than I expected too. But yeah, I'm gonna slowly go through all of this for all the people who want to see. So the development of the game is often challenging. It is full of compromise and sacrifice at every step of the way. Type the Phoenix program. You now have the chance to get to know the villains, heroes of Z Team. You've also met some. Tough calls and reshaping the team. Like beast form, shadow only, no tongue. Interesting. Sonar, what makes a man and what makes a Batman? We spent a long time trying to figure out just that. Oh, so yeah, they was trying to figure out the cross between them. Type coupe to cut in French. Sadly ironic if you did snip her off the team roster. That would be ironic. Are they saying that? Are y'all hinting to that the right choice was to cut Coop? Of the few aerial heroes and Phoenix pronoun only. Mask hero Coop is capable, elegant, and mysterious. The concept came very early but nailed down to the final. Yeah, okay. They're gonna make Coop blacker than what she was, or darker than what she was. Hmm. Tight. Waterboy, sweet, timid, and hardworking Waterboy awakened the dreamer in all of us. What he lacked in skill, he made up for in moisture, and sometimes that actually comes in handy whether you choose him to fight on the front lines or left him to mop the bathrooms. Waterboy will give 110%. Diet. Fireman was SDN's best and not so brightest, but after being blindsided by a breakup, he left purposeless, listless, blazerless. Blazerless was unnecessary. If he is welcomed into the Phoenix Round, however, he may have found a new outlet, focus, incredibly intense, yearning. Alrighty, Roy, best brother for sure. I'm gonna let y'all, I'm gonna hold off on each page a little bit, let y'all see it. The setup, props, type. That is interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Why did they even draw that? That was really unnecessary. I don't know what the team was doing, but oh wow, panel of Invisigirls. Map evolution, nice. Dispatch press. I kind of want to go through it and just like be the best version of each one. Kind of want to redo it and see what happens if I think this would have been cool, but this was enough. I feel like this was enough. But it's cool to see how it would have looked to this because we definitely saw like the eye-ness of this. So it's cool to see that this was like also a thing. They did a really good job with the hacking system. I will say it was actually troubling. The time frame, and I don't know if this was just my PC, but it felt like it had a slight delay in hacking. But that might have just been my PC. Yeah, we can see some more art. Ever since the storyboard phase, this shot has been one of my favorites. Oh, the continued Z Team, Flambe. It's good Flambe. I sit on here for a little bit just so y'all can read it, bro. But I frankly don't care about Flambe. He can disappear for all I care. I wanted to get rid of him. He's who I wanted to cut. We had an early idea of the oh yeah, like so they kind of knew how they wanted to do Prism. Oh, I'm sorry. Ah, I don't know where that yawn came from. Yeah, I will say though, I feel like they perfectly nailed Prism. sentient creature made of dirt. Clay, it allows for a lot of design possibilities and not being too many. Golem was carried with a long time, iterating on just to get it right. And to be honest, I feel like the golem that they chose was a perfect iteration. It accommodated for modern times. It didn't make them look too like grassy or earthy, but it also gave them a nice sentient feel. Naming him Bruno was also wonderful in my opinion. It's like look at this design of Golem. It gives like a modern day Golem. Like this is what I would expect to see or close to it. I would say exactly like it because you know I do have that fantasy in me. Malevola, mistress of hell and our hearts, demon lady of your dreams. You may think heals are impractical for running or fighting, but as Malevola would say, only if you're a little. Yeah. While Malevola's strong build was always part of our vision for her, the weapon she wields and her personal aesthetic evolved quite a bit. Nice. Hmm. I actually really like Malevola. Uh, Out of all of these like concept designs, I feel like where they went with it was the best. The path in which they approached with it was the best. I'm glad they didn't go for this one, just because I don't know the bulkiness of this one specifically would have scared me. Scared me mentally. Punch Up. Punch Up came from a carnival strongman concept, but we got progressively shorter throughout our design exploration process. No, nice. Not, I love how they put little jokes in the art designs and incorporated them throughout the scene. It's the set, the city, the villains bar. Yeah, nice. Yeah, they did really nicely throughout all of this. Like, I really have a nice appreciation for this. Flashback battle. All right, now I would say for the flashback battle, it did take me a while to catch on that it was like a flashback type thing. Because, going from episode to episode, you don't really know what the start off is. But it did take, I did catch on quickly, but it did take me a while, in my opinion, just because I thought it was like progressively happening. I thought like Fine Boy, actually just swapped up on us like just right then and there. Which I wouldn't be surprised if he found out I was Mega Man, but then I realized after I was in the suit that was the case. Randy was cool. Although we only saw him for a brief time, he was like he was standing on business. He was standing on business. Ooh. This one actually was an early concept that we did not include based on the design alone. Mm, Not many dead guys can pull off three belts. Lol. Yeah. That would have been interesting to see. That would have been really interesting to see. The whole sequence was truly a labor of love for me. It is rare that we got such a pure visual storytelling. Huh. We got the chance here. I knew I wanted to go all out. Makes sense. Because like who doesn't love a good party scene? And I love the concept that everybody's brought lamps except for like Blonde Blazer. You know, everybody was just like, she said a lamp or something, and everyone got lamp. It was a nice testament to the thought process of the team. Just trying to have a good time. Who can blame them for that? I am gonna come back to the comics. I just wanted to see how long they tend to be, because actually that's kind of personal what I'm excited about. Okay, this is a little bit of storytelling on Stroud. Shroud armor bio based. One thing I will say that I feel like it's kind of plot holy is like why Stroud needed the actual pull specifically if he made it. I mean, I get that we saw that it was very hard to replicate in any sense of the manner. The even like with the look alone, it was really hard to replicate from what Roy was saying. But I'm not a geek, so I wouldn't get the difficulty. But maybe Stroud made it by a stroke of luck. When the Stroud mask is off, he is Eli. Nice, you know. And maybe Stroud was me if I was a supervillain type. I did like Stroud's mech, but I will say there was something to be desired for me. Then again, I'm not wearing it, so like I get the concept. Yeah, I get the concept. It's like based off of his eye, like feeding into it, and then the body is like the the the, the exploded head of his or his calculation ability. So I definitely get the concept. I think if I'm reading into it right, but I might be reading it wrong. The Red Ring group fighting experts produced so unique characters, but we needed these villains to feel threatening, not like nameless as types. Now, Psychic, I thought was a hero at first that just randomly popped up. I mean, wow, I had to see Famba, running them with her for me to understand that. So that's how Coop would have looked if Coop traded. Yeah, bro, I'm dead. Hot red. Partially due to the ratio from Robert betrayal, but also the increased red power. It's faster, sharper, and heck of a lot scarier. Sonar Collar was a design of killer miss of bulky tech you would see in the 80s cycle. The reason I didn't let Coop go, and I want to clarify this again, just so everybody know, is that Coop was an assassin, a gun for hire before this. I did not want her going back to her old job. Sonar was just a brilliant inventor or like ideologist. It was like he had good ideas. Sonar could make money, bro. Like I don't see why Sonar chose to go to trial. He could have started a dog business. Okay, so this is the blob. Team Z's final fight. That was gold on Team Z got scrapped in the bar, episode 5, but there's not to the boss about it. That we see them show off their powers. Yeah, I will say I did find Prism Sid Kit. I mean Sid Kit, lol. I'm still thinking about the Brawlhalla reference I made during that episode. But I was thinking about so I did have it right. Prism's abilities levels abilities were strong with the sword synergy. Okay, yeah, bro. I felt all the abilities. They, they feel like really well organized. I will say I feel like Water Boy's abilities were underused just to an extent. I feel like Water Boy should have been capable of like building pressure in his mouth. Kind of like how people, be spitting through like a gap teeth or something, like through pressing their tongue up. But yeah, I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. Some of these art styles, the attack setting, type people. Miss Crorsers, the best cup of Joe in the office. Okay. Lana, alien mailroom from a different galaxy altogether. Glean, guy from Florida. Yeah, wonderful people. Wonderful people all the same. Flashback, yep. I I do like the design of the house. It feels very homey, with a sense of nostalgia. It gives it gives the right vibe, and it shows that he had a good childhood, but it might not have been the best childhood. He wasn't far off, I guess you would say. Showed like he was a nice little middle class person. It made it feel like real relatable. No kidding. Not to say that I was middle class, but yeah. I mean, well, this is the end of the process. Yep, yep. See a little bit of creators. Shout out to the studio. I don't want to butcher the name, but yes, this studio right here that I'm circling with the mouse. I would like everybody to be appreciative of their work because they did a wonderful job. The artwork. This is some of the people to work on it. They had featured artists. There's so many of them. I wonder if there's any. Tell me if there's any of these names that y'all recognize. I would love to hear y'all stories about them or y'all opinions on any of these artists or the featured artists. And then the studio for the work and what they did, I would have thought the studio was massive. So it is kind of surprising to see all of the, not all of them, but how little of a team they had. So I want to say phenomenal job to them. I see I see Bruno. So let's see how many of the names we can find in here. Anybody name Neville or last name Gibb? 'Cause Bruno was Golem. Courtney. Yeah. Do y'all see any of them? All right. That's the point. We are type. I hope everybody had fun at this pool party. Golem jumping into the water is funny. The mud they're about to have. But then could Golem actually keep himself together? Hmm. But look at these comics. So we got Splash. What that say? Splash the Last Bender, I think. Interesting. Type. Yo, everyday type hero. A little problematic at inconvenient times, but of course, Slam Bay, creator of this profile, type, Splash. Alright. And then dispatch. I found us a job. Thought you wanted to cool I thought you wanted to cool it on doing crime. I do. This gig's above board, actually legal employment. Type. Look, I got 200 shit. Okay. Interesting. Mm-mm-mm. It was a duo from the start, huh? First day of our new lives. Tight, tight. Oh, Pil Pildelix and Shell Shock. I hope I pronounced that right. In black and white. I feel like it is oddly befitting. I will say that. I vaguely did hear about this in a reels. Spoiled it for me a little bit, but it did help me learn about some synergies. But I think I had figured out the synergy before this anyway. But it did let me figure out why they had a synergy. This was also a hint to why Punch Up was not scared when Prism had put Coop's knife to his throat because Coop had already tried it. So are you. That is interesting. That is indeed an interesting turn of events. Let's see. Of course, we're talking right now. This is the breakup scene. So, where is the superhero work? It's my desire. So that's why she broke up with him because he wanted to do superhero work and she didn't. She didn't always want to be a superhero. That explains disconnect in there. Oh wait, let me go back in. This is get up. All right, type, type, type. Mm-hmm. This must be his dad. If I'm not mistaken, this is Chase, bro. I feel like that is Chase. Oh, yeah, yeah, this gotta be all of them. Type, 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 type. Robbers will go on. Type, types. This is all like oh, this is one Shroud. Uh, my Astral, your Astral Pulse. I made all of it. Oh, okay, so this is okay. Type, you think you can? Okay. I okay, okay. I'm gonna just roll through these here real quick. Though we saw all of them. Like I said, my most successful shift was half of episode 5. I'm not gonna relook at the stats because we relooked at the stats of all at the end of all of them. But that was amazing. That was truly amazing. All right, but I hope everybody enjoyed the extra parts of it. You know, the comics, etc., etc.